Hi everyone, this is Mary. You're in Mary Reads. Welcome back to my channel. On this very gloomy April afternoon, I wanted to change it a little bit, make the day a little bit warmer and a little bit brighter for myself and hopefully for you. And I wanted to tell you about the classic books that I'm planning on reading this year. I have this fat pile of books here, and let me just put it down before it falls, because if it does, it would not be its first time. I'm not even going to try putting the books in any sort of order. We'll just go as they are here. I don't want to, invent a wheel and move anything because it will fall. Just a little bit of a foreword before we begin. I have been thirsty for classics. That hasn't happened to me in a while, but I haven't read any classic books since last year, and I really want to get back to reading classics. My soul needs classics. So I chose 11 or 12. I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 classic books that I would like to read this year. And some of them you have already seen in my newest books from the library, or maybe in the 25 books I want to read in 2025. So some of these books maybe you will recognize, but others will be new. So even if you know some of these books, bear with me, there will be some that you haven't seen before. Let's start with the first. It's Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. I also have 5 Weeks in a Balloon here. I don't think they are connected. I think these are two separate stories. I will read the second one as well, but I'm mostly interested in Around the World in 80 Days. You will probably already know by now what the book is about. It's about a gentleman, an English gentleman, who is going to circle the globe in 80 days. And I think he will have his friend with him, or some sort of help that he brought with him. And then they will be trying to cross the globe or circle the globe in as little time as possible, if I remember correctly. And of course, there will be obstacles, there will be adventures, there will be some funny, maybe sad moments. And I just thought that it's going to be so nice. I have read Jules Verne's books before, but it was so long ago, I don't remember anything at this point. I should probably reread everything. But why I got so interested in this book is because, first of all, I'm trying to find the Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's the book I'm hunting for. Not that I haven't seen it anywhere, but in some places I didn't like the edition. In others, it was too expensive, and I thought that it's not worth spending so much money. So I haven't bought it yet. I will probably end up checking in the library because they usually have everything, and maybe that's where I'll get it. But I'm hunting for that one. And on my journey towards that book, I'm finding other Jules Verne's books, and this was on my way. So I decided to take it. It was in the children's books section, which makes sense. I don't think these are books for adults, probably early teens, but I really want to get back into that atmosphere, especially because recently my husband and I watched the movie, The Journey to the Center of the Earth, fairly old, I think 2009, and there was this actor, what's his name? I think Brendan Fraser, the guy who played in the Mummy movies. Might be wrong with the name, but I think that's what it is. I think that's his name. Loved the movie. It was so nice. There should also be a second part about the Atlantis. Haven't watched that yet, but it's on my list. And that only fueled my interest. I want to read Jules Verne's books, and I might actually be starting this year's classics journey with this one. Book number 2 that you have already seen if you've watched my book haul video, it's We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I haven't read anything by this author before, and I'm very excited about this particular book because I've heard a lot of great reviews. It's about a family who lives in a castle, and nobody in their town likes them because there is a rumor that the sister of our main character tried poisoning the whole family. Some people survived, some people died, and so since that event, the family doesn't go out. I don't know if it's true or it's just a rumor. I think it's just a rumor, but no matter what it is, people in this town don't like them. And the family is very reserved. They almost never leave the castle, except for our main character, who needs to get out to buy food, to do certain things, run errands, just let's say run errands. And they are used to this sort of life until their estranged cousin comes. And he plays this amazing, very nice young man until we realize that he's actually there to get the family's money. I don't even know what genre it's going to be. Is there going to be a little bit of mystery? Are we going to have some love story? I don't know what to expect from this book. It's very, very short, only 140 pages. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm very excited and I can't wait to start this book. It will probably also be one of my next reads. So if you want to know more about this book, stay tuned. I will definitely be talking about it soon. Number 3, also the book that you have seen before. It's Persuasion by Jane Austen. I think I wanted to read it by the end of last year, but I didn't have time. The pile of books that I was planning on reading was never going to happen. So I left this book for this year. I don't remember Persuasion. I've read everything by Jane Austen, but I only remember Emma and Pride and Prejudice, and I've reread Pride and Prejudice, but I don't remember Persuasion. All of the other books by Jane Austen just got mixed up. I don't remember what's coming from where. I don't remember who the main characters are. I feel like I remember certain scenes, but I don't know how we got there. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm very curious. A lot of people say that they love Persuasion, so I'm hoping that this time when I read it, I will remember everything and that I will love it as much as other people do. And as for the plot, it's a very classic Jane Austen. We have the famous English humor, we have a love story, we have a young man and a young woman who want to be together. I assume the ending is also going to be happy because all Jane Austen's books have happy endings, which I love them for. And yeah, I'm excited to read this book. It's also very short, only 225 pages, so I think it's going to be a very fast read. Next on our list is a little bit more serious book, well, way more serious. It's Inferno by Dante, the first part of his Divine Comedy. I have read parts of it in middle school. We needed to read it for literature classes, but only certain parts. And something has been dragging me towards Odyssey, Iliad, Divine Comedy. I'm not sure why exactly, but something has been drawing me to those works. And Odyssey and Iliad, I decided to just wait with, but Divine Comedy is something I want to read. Obviously, I will need the second and the third part, but this is all I have right now. This is what we had in our home library. In this book, as probably all of you know, we are going to travel with the main character to the depths of hell. And if I remember it well, from 10 years ago when I read parts of the Divine Comedy, to Paradise as well. But this is Inferno, the very first part, where we just meet the character and start our journey with him. Very excited. As you know, Divine Comedy is not a novel, it's a narrative poem. So it's written like this. And if that's something you don't like, because I know some people don't like that, and I am not a huge fan, just that's something to be prepared. I'm not saying don't read this book if you don't like poems. I think everybody should read it, but that's something to be prepared for. Next on our agenda is a book that my friend gave me the last time I went back home to Russia, which was 5 years ago, and I still haven't read this book. It's in Russian, but I really want to talk about it because it's Chekhov and it's been translated for sure. So if you want to read this book, if that's something that interests you, you will be able to find it. It's called Drama on the Hunt or A Shooting Party. And this is early Chekhov. We probably know him for The Cherry Orchard, for a lot of other plays, for his short stories. This is not a novel, but a long story. It has 260 pages. And this is early Chekhov, which I haven't read before, and I'm very interested in seeing his early works. But what's even more interesting is that it's written in a very unusual genre for this author. Because again, we know him for fun short stories, we know him for plays. This is a mystery. And it is about a young woman who was stabbed to death during a hunt. That's where the name comes from, The Shooting Party. She went on a hunt with other people and somebody stabbed her. I assume we're gonna try to figure out who did this, why, what happened there. I'm very excited, again, because I haven't seen Chekhov like this before. The next book will also be in Russian, but this time I bought it for myself. I bought it in New York on Brighton Beach in a Russian bookstore, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the Russian bookstore a little bit later because it's something that I do want to discuss. But first, let's talk about the book. It's Somerset Maugham's Cakes and Ale, or The Skeleton in the Cupboard. I think this was his favorite work, or one of his favorite works. I don't know this author. I mean, I've heard of him, obviously, but I've never read anything by this author. I've heard a lot about The Moon and Sixpence, his novel about fictionalized life of a painter, Gauguin, but I haven't read that, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to. It's kind of interesting, but I don't know if I want to start with this book. And then I saw this one, and what intrigued me here so much is that this book is about a writer, about him not being taken by the society thinking that he is too realistic, that he's not writing well, that his works are not worth reading. Other writers didn't take him into their circle, but then by the end of his life, he became a classic. I think that it's a very, very cool idea, especially because this is something that happens to so many different writers, so many artists, so many singers. So anybody who does anything creative, I feel like even if you become famous during your life, I feel like that's a stage that everybody has to go through, where people think that you're doing something stupid, where people don't want to follow you. And by follow, I mean not on social media, but listen to you, engage with you, learn more about you, see your work and appreciate your work. I think that this is what everybody goes through, at least at some point in their life. Even if you don't do something creative, you will relate to that. And I thought that this is going to be so cool. And also because I love books about books, and I love books about writers and authors. So I think this is the right book for me to start with. Next, I want to talk about 3 books that I put into one category in my head. They're on the same shelf. And the first one is Theodore Dreiser's Sister Carrie. I've talked about this book so much on this channel already. And I've read it. I loved it. Absolutely. It is still one of my favorite books. But I've read it in Russian. I want to reread it in English. First of all, I want to feel the same emotions. And second, I want to read it in the language it was written in. I absolutely adore the story. This is a novel about a young girl, Carrie, who comes to Chicago to live with her sister. She wants a very nice life. She wants dresses, she wants events, she wants to have money, she wants to have a place in society. But she sees how her sister lives. They do not make a lot of money. The sister's husband works on a factory. They just had a baby. The sister is wearing very casual clothes, nothing cool, nothing fashionable. And Carrie sees that and realizes that if she works like they do, she will never achieve the life that she wants. And that's why she starts a relationship with a man who has connections. And by relationship, I think they might have had some romance, but I'm not sure. Mostly they're friends and he is introducing her to a different circle. And this is about her climbing towards the life she wants, climbing that ladder, but also about other people falling off that ladder. Because this goes both ways, the ladder goes both ways. And this contrast was so fascinating. I feel like in some of the chapters, I saw myself. I saw the life that I was leading versus the life that I wanted, and then comparing it to my life now. I just feel like it's so relatable. I absolutely loved the book, and I feel like I said the word love so many times here. This is not how many times I tell my husband that I love him, but I love this book. And if you haven't read it yet, you have such an amazing adventure ahead of you. Don't watch the movie. I mean, you can. I didn't like the movie. I think they made some changes that make the movie a little bit nicer, a little bit sweeter. But that was the whole pain of the book, that the life is not sweet, the life is not nice. So making it sweeter was just destroying the whole point of the book. So I would definitely start with the book. I can't wait to read it in the language it was written in. Again, I think I'm gonna read it soon because I don't know if there is this saying in English, but in Russian, my hands are itching. I need to take this book and read it now. The next book that I also put in the same series of kind of wanting a better life, trying to climb out of the life you are leading towards the life that you want to lead, and it's The Custom of the Country by Edith Wharton. I think I showed this book in the very beginning of my channel, maybe even in my first ever video, which was a vlog from Miami. I think I took this book with me hoping that I will have time to read it. I never had time. It might have appeared in a couple other videos, but I never got to reading this book. This is about a girl who moves to New York to again establish herself in a society. She wants a better life, and here we will discover what consequences our desires have. I think something here is going to be connected to greed, and I don't know if the ending is going to be very positive. Not sure. Here it kind of looks like we're going to go through the consequences of these desires, so it looks like something negative, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about this book. I just feel like it's going to be something similar to Sister Carrie, just again because we have a young girl who wants a better life, who moves to a different city, a bigger city, to get something better, to move away from that rural life. So I'm very curious. Ideally, I will read this book right after Sister Carrie to compare. And the next book you have also seen, also from that type of literature, Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. But this is a slightly different timeline. So if those books were early 20th century, this is a Victorian novel. So we go a little bit back. And here we have a young girl, Tess, who wants to move away from her rural life. She wants to be rich, and she wants to claim a connection that she might have with a very rich family of the D'Urbervilles. So people say that they might be related. She doesn't know, but she is going to claim the connection. And she will, on her journey, she will meet her love. I assume that maybe she will try to have some love story with one of the D'Urbervilles family members, but then she realizes that she loves somebody else. I don't know, maybe she will realize that she doesn't need all that money and she will move back to her rural life and be happy. I really don't know what to expect from this book, but I am excited. It was my grandma's recommendation, and usually we have a similar taste, at least in classics, so I'm excited to finally taking this book and finally reading it. Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Not even going to talk about this book a lot. I've showed it very recently, and I think it appeared in 25 books that I want to read in 2025. So if you haven't watched this video and you want to hear more about this book, I will link the video below and you can see it there. but also one of the novels that I've read before that I really want to reread and see it as an adult differently, hopefully. That's what usually happens when you reread classic. You notice some details that you haven't noticed before. So I want to start reading this book very soon, especially because it's a library book, and soon they will start calling me asking where all of their books went. Adam Bede by George Eliot also mentioned this book earlier about a young girl who a carpenter, Adam Bede, is in love with, but she is smitten by the feelings towards her from a different man who is a squire, but he had a certain connection with a dairymaid, which affects a lot of people in their small town. And I guess that our main character, the young girl, will not be with the squire because of this connection. I really don't know what to expect from this book. I'm diving into it just trusting George Eliot and knowing that I love her novels. I've read Middlemarch. I really enjoyed it. And granted, it's one of her most famous works, and others were a little bit outshadowed by it, but I think it's not going to be worse. I am excited, and I'm hoping to read it this year. And for dessert, I left this one book that I was on a break with, a break longer than what Ross and Rachel had. It is also a book in Russian, and there is no other language I can see myself reading this book in because it's Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov. I got this book in a Brighton Beach bookstore, and this is when we're gonna have a discussion of Russian bookstores in New York. They are so expensive. You have to be a millionaire to go and buy these books because they don't come very often. They only come in certain editions, and they come from a different country. They're not printed in the US. So obviously they are extremely expensive, and they got even more expensive in the last 2 or 3 years. But I got this book. I don't remember how much it cost. I don't know if it's written here, but something like $30, which I think is atrocious. And it's not even the edition that I love. It's what they had. And the paper is what we call in Russia a newspaper paper, which is gray, which is very thin, not the best quality. This is kind of what it looks like. I like it. I can't say that I don't like it, but for this price, I would expect white paper. But whatever. Okay, we take what we can. I'm grateful that there are Russian bookstores in New York City. So this novel is about 3 brothers who live through their father's death. And here we will discuss the questions of family, of morals, of faith, especially because all of these 3 brothers believe in different things. I don't know in what way. Is it religion? Is it politics? Is it just morals and general life? I'm not sure, and I really want to see. And why I said we were on a break with this author for so long, it's because we were. I haven't taken any Dostoevsky's novels since I've read Crime and Punishment in 10th grade. I was depressed for a year after that. It's a beautiful work. I want to reread it, but it got me depressed. And I was not ready to take any other Dostoevsky's novels, but I am so thirsty and hungry for classics. I realized that I need to read this book. I don't know if it's going to be right now. I might leave it for the fall. This is when I want to read slower, where I want to read a little bit more serious books. But I might take it in August because of my job. This is the quietest period. July, August are very quiet. So maybe this is where I'm gonna have to take it. I want to read it in the fall, but I might have to read it in summer. So these were all the classic books that I've read. And I had an idea that I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I wanted to hear your opinion. So let me know what you think. I might have a month of reading classics, which means that every week for a month, I will be taking a classic book and trying to read it in a week and tell you about it in my video. So we will be having a month of a separate book review, and the books that I'm going to be taking will have to be thin just because I'm a slow reader in general, and when it comes to classics I become even slower. So I won't be able to take Dostoevsky. It will probably be Chekhov or Somerset Maugham or Jules Verne, so shorter books from this video. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in, and we can have a month of reading classics. And also let me know if you are planning on reading any classic books this year and what they are. Thank you for watching this video and staying with me for all this time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.